Good morning, boys and girls in Miss Wilder's class. I want to go through a couple of things that will hopefully help you guys when you're going in to check your assignment. So we've talked so many times about when you're in Google Classroom, how it's important to stay on top of your work, and you can either go to your to-do list or you can go to the main menu, the pancakes, and check the to-do list from there. But once you click on that to-do list, you're going to see everything that's been assigned to you. If it is highlighted on the Assign tab, you can easily see if something is missing by clicking on this Missing tab, and that lets you know when these things were due and that those need to be turned in. And then finally, you can click on the Done tab and see what all has been completed. This is a great way to check your work to make sure that you haven't overlooked an assignment. And if it is missing, you can click on that and easily go in there and complete that assignment. But what we've been realizing is that some of our friends are going in and marking an assignment as done, or they are turning it in, but then they're not attaching any work to that assignment. So what I want us to do is to take a look at how to thoroughly check to ensure that each of those assignments have been turned in and they are complete for that week. So let's go into this student. They're reading Google Classroom. They've given me permission to log in as them. And we're going to check to see that they have submitted the assignment. So we'll use this as an example. We recently completed the Satchel Page VGO, that vocab graphic organizer. So you can tell the difference that this student, by glancing, it appears that this student has completed this because it is in this gray tone. And by glancing, we can tell, just like it showed on our to-do list, that these assignments are still missing and need to be completed. So let's go back in here. Even though this is grayed out and it looks like it has been turned in, what we're finding is that some students have marked that assignment as done or turned it in, but in actuality, when we go in as teachers to grade that in Google Classroom, there is no work attached. So it's just like when we used to do work on paper and do that for homework, and then if we forgot that at home and we didn't bring that paper with us to school the next day, there's no way that the teacher can see that we have completed it. And so this is the way to make sure, just like that little analogy, that you actually bring it so the teacher can see it. So you want to attach it to your work, that assignment post, so that the teacher can see your hard work and effort. So many of you, we know that you're doing this work, but I think that what is happening is it's hanging out in your Google Drive, and then you're forgetting to attach it to that assignment post. So let's go ahead and go into this VGO assignment. Remember, I've told you several times, always go to View Assignment. Even to just read those directions, always click on View Assignment, because this is also going to show you this important box, which shows you your work related to this assignment. So you can see the directions here, which we have talked so many times about the importance of thoroughly reading these directions instead of quickly just hopping on to whatever document is attached, or if it's a hyperdoc like the Reading Resources hyperdoc, quickly clicking on that to then open up a file and make a copy. Always read these directions, because we're finding that once students read these directions, they are able to then answer some of those questions that have confused them, and it really does help clarify everything. So always read those directions first. Then what I want you to do, it looks like that this student has attached his work, but what we want you to get in the habit of doing is every single week on Thursday afternoons or Thursday nights, we want you to do a thorough check of all of your NTI work for that week. So we want you to go through every assignment, just like we just opened up this VGO assignment. And what I want you to do is actually click on this document that you've attached to show your work. What I've noticed with some students is they think that they've attached it because they glance and see a file over here, but it's actually the copy that I've made for you at times. So it doesn't even have your work. So if you click on this, it's going to bring up the actual document that you've attached, and you can see here that this student has thoroughly done his work. He has included images, he's included definitions, and after reading the directions, we realize that that is all this assignment asks us to do. So we can exit out of that box, and we know that everything is attached. If you realize that you've just marked the assignment as done or turned it in, and you realize, oh no, I marked it as done, but I didn't actually attach any of my work, or what is attached is just Miss Wilder's copy that she has made for each of the students, but it actually doesn't show my work, then what you would need to do is go to unsubmit. Okay, that is going to unflag that assignment as being turned in, and then it's going to allow you to go in and find that assignment. So let's pretend for just a second that this student realized, oh, this is actually Miss Wilder's example. This is actually not my work. It doesn't show anything that I've actually done. I want to show Miss Wilder the hard work that I've been doing at home for NTI. What you would do is you would go to this plus, add, or create, like we've done so many times. Always go to your Google Drive right here. If you're attaching a file from Google Drive, it's best not to use the link or the file. Always start with the Google Drive. Unless you're taking like a picture. Remember how we took photos of our geography reading notes for chapter 1 in social studies? Then you would go to a file if you're going to upload a photo. But for the majority of things that we do, you're always going to find it right there in your drive. So when we click on our drive, this is why we had you guys organize your folders at the beginning of the year. If you did that as we were instructing you and tried to walk you through that process, this is when it's really going to pay off. Those good organizational skills are really going to pay off for you. So you're going to click on that 5th grade folder, and then we're going to search. Since this is a reading VGO, we're going to click on our reading folder, and it should be right here. It looks like the student forgot to maybe organize that in there, which is fine. It will make it easier for you, but there's still a workaround. So never fear, because there are 2 ways to skin a cat. As a couple of the students had told me at the beginning of the year, Dallas and I got a big chuckle out of that. He actually had heard that many times. So there is always more than one way to get to solve a problem. So we are going to solve this problem of the file not being there by searching for, I think it was the Satchel Page VGO. So we're going to do a search like this, and look what pops up. We can see that this is this student's Satchel Page VGO. I see those images right there. I'm going to go to insert, but then what I want you to do, boys and girls, I want you to always, before you turn it in, click on that file, scroll down and double check to make sure that the name of the file that you're attaching matches the name of the Google Classroom post for that assignment. So always double check that. Now that we've double checked that and ensured that this is exactly what we want to turn in, we are going to click that turn in button. And when we do that, it's going to prompt us to ask us to make sure that we want to turn in our work, and we do. So now it's going to send our teacher a message, and it's actually going to show me this image as a teacher so that I can grade your all's hard work and give you credit for all of these things that you're doing on these NTI days. Another reminder that I wanted to tell you guys is something that I've noticed is when we're completing vocab quizzes and tests. Some of us are doing the test or the vocab quiz in that Google Classroom post, but then it automatically will give you a grade and even tell you that you can view the results after you finish that quiz or test. But you always have to go ahead and click that button up here that says mark as done or turn in. Even though you've submitted your test and you've clicked a separate button for the completion of that quiz or test, You always have to mark that turn in or done, because it will not allow me as the teacher to import your grade and then to release that grade to you. So just a few little tips to help make sure that our work in Google Classroom is going smooth and it's alleviating any frustration that anyone may be feeling. And most importantly, we want to give you guys credit for all of that hard work that you are doing. So if you want, please stay on top of keeping everything organized. That is probably the biggest tip that I can give you, is keeping those files organized and saving them in those 5th grade content folders that we had you guys set up at the beginning of the year. That will make your life so much easier. And then, of course, always going back through and double checking on Thursday afternoons to make sure that all of your assignments for the week have been turned in. So you literally start at the bottom and work your way up, making sure that everything has been turned in so you can get credit for that hard work. All right, I'm so excited to see your all's work and to reward you guys for everything that you are doing at home. And I know that you guys, at the end of this, you are truly going to be the smartest 5th graders in the world